Hi, and welcome to this week's Fundraising Friday. This week's tip has to do with making sure that you've got the right mix of donors in your database. What do I mean by the right mix? Do you have enough major gift donors and enough broad-based or annual fund donors to sustain the amount of money that you need to raise in a given year? Rule of thumb is 90-10. That is, 10% of your donors should be providing about 90% of the revenue that you raise every year, which means that the remaining 90% of your donors bring in about 10%. That top 10% of the donors who bring in 90% of the revenue are your major donors. The others are your annual fund or broad-based solicitation donors. Why is that important? Think about it this way. If you needed to raise $100,000 a year, would you rather do that by getting 10 $10,000 donors or by getting 1,000 $100 donors? Certainly, you'd much rather have to deal with 10 $10,000 donors, but are there 10 donors at that level who are interested in supporting your organization? And think about what happens if one of those donors no longer supports your organization. You're going to lose a significant amount of the revenue that you need to bring in each year. So instead, by having a good mix, losing one donor at the top doesn't hurt quite as much, and you're preparing those donors in the broad-based solicitation to slowly move up. And rather than having 10 donors at 10,000 who are giving to make your $100,000 goal each year, you might have one donor giving 25,000 and one donor giving 10 and a couple giving 5 and more giving 1,000 and so on down the line. That's what we call the donor pyramid. Want to know how to see whether or not your database and your donors meet that 90-10 rule? Look at my blog post from this week, and you'll see how you can test your database to see whether or not you might want to focus on getting more major gift donors or broadening your base of support. You can read that at wastonassoc.com/blog. Thanks for listening, and have a great weekend.